There are many different things that pro trumpet players do that allow them to rise above and find success when others fail. For example, pro trumpet players have developed habits that allow them to play the trumpet in a healthy way, which leads to more consistent production, which leads to more confidence overall that they'll be able to perform the way they want to. Pros also know how to practice efficiently and effectively so that they can record themselves and find problems and solve them, and also to cement the things they're doing well in their mind so they can begin to have lots of positive associations and confidence mentally as well. The very best trumpet players know that the secret to success on the trumpet is to play Yamaha. I'm just kidding about that last part. All joking aside, I believe that one of the most important things that pro trumpet players do that set them apart from other people is in the way that they set their goals. Why do I believe that the way they set their goals is so important? It's because the way you set your goals and the specificity with which you set your goals is gonna funnel down and affect everything you do in the practice room. A lot of players set goals that are like, I want to get better at the trumpet, or I want a better high range, and pros have these goals too, but their secret lies with how specific they are when they set these goals. So let's dive in and look at how pro trumpet players set their goals so that you can start setting goals like a pro trumpet player too. So before we get into how pro trumpet players set their goals, we just have to talk about what is the difference between a goal that helps you and a goal that doesn't. Well, let's say I asked you the question, what are your goals on the trumpet? If you answered something like, I want to get better, or I want better articulation, or I don't want to suck as much as I do right now, these types of goals are not really going to help you that much. Why wouldn't they help you very much? Well, it's because they're not specific enough. Let's take the articulation example. If you said, I want better articulation, my question back to you would be, what do you mean by better? Better can mean lots of different things to lots of different people, and if you haven't defined it, it can be really hard to understand what direction you need to go in your practice sessions. So let's say I asked you that question, and your answer would be, well, better to me means more clarity in my articulation. That alone is going to be a huge step in the direction of having a goal that you can actually work with in your practice sessions. So now that I know that you want more clear articulation, the next question I would ask you is, what needs to happen in order for you to have clear articulation in general? The way you would go about answering this is either asking a teacher or a coach, drawing upon previous conversations with teachers or coaches to try to remember what they've coached you on, maybe to listen to recordings of players that you admire and start to nitpick and try to figure out what are they doing and how can I do more of that, or you can just make your best guess as to what you think clear articulation might involve. So for me, when I anchor tongue and I focus on keeping my air forward on my lips when I play, I find that I get clear articulation as a result. If you want to know more about what I think about how to get your air forward when you play, I've done a whole video on this. I'll leave that linked down below. So if we used my answer to that question, we would be able to move from a goal statement of, I want better articulation to, I want more clarity in my articulation, which is created by anchor tonguing and focusing on keeping my air forward when I'm producing sound on the trumpet. Do you see the difference between these two statements? Now, instead of having a sort of generalized, vague goal, you have a very clear idea of what you want to create and even an idea of how you're gonna go creating it in the practice room. This is what I believe pros do differently when setting goals that supercharges their learning and gets them better faster. They have very clear ideas of all the different goals that they want to create, and they've got a clear picture in their head of how they're going to go about creating that. After that, all they need is that thing I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some sort of process of practicing where they can dissect their practice, figure out how to solve problems, and focus on the things they're doing well. If this discussion has resonated with you, I'd like to help a little bit more by providing a chart that you can jot down that will help you be able to identify your goals and then be more specific with them. Also, if this video resonates with you, hitting the like button will be pretty awesome as well. So as you look on this chart, on the side we would have the goal. Then on the top we have one column that says, what's the goal? Another that says, make it more specific. Another that says, what needs to happen to create this goal? and why does this goal matter? Now, we've already covered the first 3 columns in this video, but that last one, why does this goal matter? I wanted to make sure I covered that in this video as well. Filling out the column, why does this matter? You simply just want to think, why is this goal important to me? What would I gain if I accomplished this goal? So let's just use the example of getting more clarity in our articulation to answer this. If you wanted to develop more clarity in your articulation, why would this be important to you to accomplish that goal? Well, the surface level reason I can think of to develop more clarity in your articulation is that as a byproduct, you would get more clarity in your music making, which is a great reason in and of itself to pursue clarity of articulation. But let's take it one level deeper and ask the question, what would I gain if I was able to have more clarity in my music making? Well, to me, more clarity in your music making means that an audience would more clearly understand the musical ideas you're communicating, which would make you a more effective performer. People would enjoy your performances more, and you would probably feel better about performing in general. Let's say you're gonna audition for a school or a music festival or a professional ensemble. I'm sure it makes sense that more clarity in your music making is gonna help you stand out in a sea of players and probably increase your chances of being able to be successful. And a third reason that I could think of for why more clarity in your music making would be beneficial to you is that more clarity in your music making means you might just enjoy making music more. It takes less of a mental toll on you to get out there and make music, and it just could be a more positive experience overall. Getting to these deeper levels of benefit when talking about your goals is really important because it will take time for you to fully develop these skills. And these types of deep connections with your goals and what you would get will help you stay motivated over the long haul when your skills are developing. I don't think setting goals that are this specific is any more difficult than setting some sort of basic one. It just takes a little bit more effort and a little bit more time. And now you have a bit of a process you can go through to set these specific goals. But as the saying goes, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So if you want to see what I think about how to take the next step and design a practice routine that's going to help you reach your goals, click the video on the screen. We'll see you in the next video.